there's a lot of discussion these days of what is and isn't a social construct. And lately we are hearing that sex is a social construct, which is just crazy, because how did Tyrannosaurus rexes have babies? How unless they happen to have the exact same social construct that led to every sexually reproductive creature has evidently had the same social construct. And it's completely nuts. But part of the confusion comes from the understanding that what we call something is a social construct. We construct the names for things. But the fact that we constructed a name for something doesn't mean we constructed the thing itself. We call this thing gravity, but that doesn't mean that gravity is a social construct. The name is a social construct with a social history. But even if you didn't know that social construct, even if you were a baby born 5 seconds ago who's had no enculturation whatsoever, if someone drops you off a cliff, you're going to die, because gravity is not a social construct. The formula to describe the rate of acceleration due to gravity, that formula is a social construct describing physical reality. And the formulae, may not always be accurate, because there may be circumstances in which there's the 32 feet per second for the acceleration of the rate of gravity, but that's an approximation, and it's not true on the moon. But that doesn't mean that gravity is no longer valid. And I hate to even do a video on this, but we've gotten so stupid with our postmodernism, which really suggests that there is no reality, but only these social creations. And I saw Judith Butler the other day, incoherently as always, describing how there is nothing outside of language, because in order to say that there is something outside of language, you have to use language to say there's nothing outside of language. And I got news for you, which is the thing outside of language existed before you were born, and it'll exist after you're dead, and it exists without language. And this is a thought error that has been going back a long time. And there's Diogenes lived, I don't know, 2,500 years ago, a long time ago. And one of the things that he was known for is he wanted to destroy all social norms, deface cultural currencies, the way he put it. And so he would poop in the marketplace. He would poop in the theater. He would masturbate in the marketplace. So these are just social norms that we need to violate. And we can talk about how stupid that is some other time. But the thing I want to get to right now is one of the things he used to do as a gotcha that has to do exactly with this names or social conventions is he used to walk around, and I won't make the gesture because I don't know if that's allowed here, but he would walk through the marketplace flipping people off, which meant the same thing in ancient Greece as it does today, same finger and everything. And then when people would go, "Why are you flipping me off?" he would say, "Ha, that's just a social convention. I could have extended a different finger and you wouldn't have gotten mad, but because it was the middle finger, suddenly you're mad. So it's on you, buddy. I didn't offend you. You're the one who got offended." And it's like, okay, he is true. If you put up this finger, it might mean one thing. If you put up this finger, it might mean one thing. If you put up fingers in one country, that might mean something else. But that doesn't alter the fact that you were raised. So yes, he was correct that extending a particular finger actually means nothing. It's a social construct. He was correct. But he was also being a complete jerk, because he was raised in a social construct in which that was offensive, and he was doing it in order to offend them, and not only to offend them, but to pretend that they were stupid because they were offended when he was trying to offend them in the first place. And let's go back to the beginning. This has also been very interesting to me, and I know I've made videos about this before, but it's just so interesting to me that the reason that we say defecation as opposed to don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but as opposed to the S word, is because of the Battle of Hastings, 1066, where the Normans invaded England and they won. And so the Anglo-Saxons became lower class. So Anglo-Saxon words, the P word, the S word, which are now, it's still affecting us 900 years later, 960 years later, those words are considered vulgar because if you say them, that means you're lower class. It means you're Anglo-Saxon. If you're high class, you say defecate, urinate, fornicate, all these Latinate roots. And also it's true, it's very interesting that it's true for what we eat too, that cow is an Anglo-Saxon word because the lower class dealt with the animals. Beef is a Latinate root because the upper class, the Normans, actually ate the beef, the boof. And so yes, these words have history, and words are social constructs. And my whole point here is we can call it a cow, we can call it a boof, we can call it whatever we want. There's still a real being there. And I can call it, I gotta go defecate, I can go say I gotta poo-poo, I can say anything at all. It doesn't matter that, I mean, it's still New York. Oh, we ran into this in Bright Green Lines. This is so funny. I swear a fair amount in my books quite often, and they wanted us to take out the swear words. And because they wanted to not offend people with that and give people a hook that they could get mad at the book on that instead of something else. And I was fine. I'm not wedded to the swear words. And at one point we said that one reason cities are not sustainable is because what do you do with all the waste products? And we said in the case of New York, and we were actually talking about feces, except we used the S word, but you send well, they used to dump it in the ocean. Now they send it all to Alabama, and they've just absolutely destroyed a county down in Alabama. Nobody can go outside anymore because all the poop from New York City is there. Anyway, we had called it the S word. What do you do with all the, and they cut that one and said, what do you do with all the junk? I was like, no, actually in this case, we weren't using it euphemistically. We were actually talking about honest to goodness. So they gave us that one back. But the point is that, yes, words are social constructs. We can use different words. Different words can mean different things in different languages, but that doesn't alter the fact that reality exists.